Continue now with our political panel, again via Skype from Louisiana, co-chair of the Louisiana Trump campaign, Jeff Crouere, and via Skype from Los Angeles, political commentator Michael Reagan, who you can find and follow on Twitter at his handle at Reagan World. You know, it's very interesting, this quote shakeup, Michael. According to our parent website, Newsmax.com, this latest change was designed to attract big-time GOP donors, but now there's talk that it could do the opposite. What happens if Trump can't woo the so-called donor class? Does he just have to dig deeper into his own pocket?
Yeah, he has to dig deeper into his own pocket to take care of it, but he has to get the donor class in to give money. Now, Bannon's a great guy, but you have to be honest here. You know, he's ticked off everybody. He's ticked off people on the right. He's ticked off people on the left, people in Washington, D.C., in the Congress of the United States. He's an equal opportunity. Find the story, whoever is that story about. So there's the problem he may have with the donor class of the Republican Party. But Donald Trump has to find the donor class, because if he doesn't get the money in the bank to do battle against Hillary Clinton after September 1st, after Labor Day, then it's over.
It's interesting to hear your comments, Michael. And Jeff, I'll come to you. My old Capitol Hill colleague, Joe Scarborough, on Morning Joe this morning on MSNBC, again went after Bannon, calling into question his experience. Here's the way it went down. Let's look and listen.
He certainly is a controversial figure, to someone who's never worked on, as best we can tell, on a presidential campaign, to now be at the top of one with 75 days to go.
I saw Dana Loesch, who is certainly not a left-wing sympathizer. I think she called him like the worst human being on the planet.
We should note for the record, there was a contractual dispute Dana had with Breitbart. That may have added to that. Jeff, they're saying he's had no presidential campaign experience, but I remember a guy who worked for Ronald Reagan named Bill Casey. The same thing could have been said. Is it really that important, or does Kellyanne take over that experience role?
Well, I think what has been happening here is a broad array of different people have been brought in that'll help Donald Trump in different areas. Kellyanne has that political experience. But Mr. Bannon, what I think he brings to the table is just incredible connection to the American people. The themes that are being promoted on Breitbart, I think, are connecting with millions of Americans. The populism, the nationalism, the anti-trade that we see with the TPP. And that is the voice of Donald Trump. That is what Donald Trump, I think, needs reassurance about, because this, I think, is going to win him the election. The issues, he's on the right side on these issues. People want to go back to an America first mentality. They want to have borders. They want to bring back our manufacturing jobs. And I think Bannon connects on those issues with Donald Trump and gives him that reassurance to stay on that winning message throughout the rest of the campaign.
Well, let's see how it's playing in America with our viewers at 1-877-NEWSMAX to Atlanta, Georgia, where Steve is watching us tonight. Hi, Steve. Welcome to Newsmax Prime.
Hey, JD.
What's on your mind? What do you think about the changes at the top of the Trump campaign?
I think they need to make some changes, and he needs to. I mean, I like Donald Trump, but I think he just needs to, keep some of his opinions to himself. But what I really wanted to call, I got something I wanted to say, if I could.
Well, very quickly, go ahead, sir.
George, if I remember correctly, George Bush was just in office 6 months when 9/11 took place.
Right.
And I think a lot of people have forgotten that the first attack on the World Trade Center was under the Clinton administration. If they remember
You're quite right. You're quite right. I believe the year was 1993, and sadly it was a harbinger of things to come later. Steve, we thank you for that historical reminder and checking in from Atlanta. In the 2 minutes that remain, gentlemen, there is another story we have to talk about that's generating a lot of web traffic, quite frankly, at Newsmax.com. It deals with the Olympics in Rio. A group of American swimmers, including gold medalist Ryan Lochte, claimed to be victims of a robbery, but that story unraveled. Lochte and another swimmer may in fact be indicted, but this morning actually a couple of days ago, Ryan Lochte visited with NBC News, and here is his version at that point in time.
I was like, we didn't do anything wrong, so I'm not getting down on the ground. And then the guy pulled out his gun, he cocked it, put it to my forehead, and he said, get down. And I was like, I put my hands up, I was like, whatever. He took our money, he took my wallet.
All right, well, there is footage. Actually, this is a situation that a couple of the swimmers who were detained as they were trying to get on an airplane to leave, they weren't able to. Ryan Lochte is back in the United States. Look, apparently the swimmers were inebriated. There's not a lot to this.
JD,
go ahead. Go ahead very quickly. Go ahead, Michael.
What really ticks me off about this is these four swimmers, with what they did. I don't care if they were drunk on their butts. The fact is, the story has overshadowed some of the great athletes of our time whose stories have not been able to get out in the last 5 days because of this stupid story. I seriously considered putting a gun to my own head today and pulling the trigger. I got so tired of listening to this when I really wanted to hear about great athletes doing great things at the Olympics.
Amen. As an old shot putter, the finals are tonight. I've got more than a casual interest in that. 15 seconds to you, Jeff, on this whole thing.
I think it has overshadowed the great performance of our athletes, and we are, I think, doubled almost the second place medal contender, China. We've had, I think, one of the best Olympics of all time. So other than this, I think a great success for American athletes.
Very good. We're coming up on the tape. Gentlemen, we appreciate your time tonight. Coming back to talk about George Soros next.